170 feet of French drain, and a few downspouts. We're going to make this yard nice and dry. It's going to be great for children and pets. We have a backyard that's really saturated. We have a backyard that has a lot of slope right down to the back storm drain. The ground here is really wet. It's really saturated. Storm drains only take in flood water. When water builds up on the surface, they can take it in. You have to put in French drains to get the subsurface water so that you can tie into the storm drain. You drill a hole right through the side of the storm drain catch basin wall and you plumb right into it. This is so wet back here that one French drain would not do it. We had to use 2 French drains, parallel French drains, in areas that are really flat and really saturated. We don't have like a pinch point, you know, a nice swale where all the water comes to. This is really flat in here. So it's going to take 2 French drains that are parallel to one another. We're also going to grab the roof runoff. You can see we have downspouts on this garage that are just dumping water right into this area that's just saturated. It's always wet. We're going to tighten this up. We're going to dry this yard out. These French drains are going to work 24/7, 365 days out of the year. They never take a minute off. So we have these 20-yard gooseneck dump trailers. Look at all this dirt. So we don't put none of the dirt back in. That is the key to having a really, really good French drain. You don't want to put any of the dirt back in. If this dirt was any good, you wouldn't be there to put in a French drain in the first place. So this dirt is not helping them. If you try to put this in on top of the stone and pipe, you're going to clog the drain. Usually they'll work for a couple years, and when all the air pockets are gone in the dirt, you're done. That's what happens. So when we dig out for a French drain, think about that. We do not put a single shovelful of that dirt back in. We haul it all away. That's why we can give a lifetime guarantee to our customers for however long they're in that home, for their lifetime, that our French drain will work. When you don't put the dirt back in that has a low permeability rate, and you just put stone and pipe in with some sand on top of the fabric, and then grow some grass on top, that's going to work forever. You got a fully contained French drain. This is the number one thing that you got to do to have a French drain that's going to last forever. Number one thing, do not put the dirt back in. We have 2 of these on site. They're 20-yarders. They'll hold up to 20 yards, and that's what it takes to do it right. Most guys are not equipped to do it right. All right, the guys are going to tie in all the downspouts. You can see we're really steep. We have a lot of slope to the back. The problem is the water all collects in a flat area behind the building. So we're going to put leaf filters on everything. These black leaf filters, they look fantastic on this building. So we're going to 3.5-inch pipe. We'll be able to go right underneath that sprinkler line. We'll be able to drop this in the same trench our French drain's in and run it right to the storm drain. The guys are lining all the trench with nonwoven geotextile filter fabric. Here's our 3.5-inch pipe. It comes in blue, white, and black. We're putting in our pro kits right now. It's all virgin pipe. We don't make any recycled pipe. As much as we would love to recycle, the recycled pipe is really weak. It's flimsy, it's soft, it's spongy, and animals love to chew on it because of some of the additives. And it splits, and it actually collapses. It's what gives corrugated pipe a bad name. So this is a virgin tile. All of our tiles virgin. Doesn't matter if it's black, blue, or white. Kale did a great job. You don't need to tape where the leaf filter goes in a riser. No need for that. You just tape right here. Then you tape both areas here where you connect to the pipe and where the coupler goes on the not quite a 90. Over here, the catch basin, same thing. You tape where the pipe snaps into the coupler, and you also tape where the coupler slides onto the catch basin. Right here is one that has no pipe. The pipe will snap on here, and it'll need tape right here where the coupler slides on the catch basin. That needs tape. We have this 200-year tape. It's super sticky, super stretchy. Doesn't matter if it's below freezing. It doesn't matter if it's snowing, raining, sleeting. It's actually amazing the way this just sucks to the shape of all the parts. Really nice job. Textbook. Now this can run all the way to the storm drain. I know Cal's going to tie in that downspout on this same pipe. This is pretty common. Little Greenbelt between the home, and then usually on the other side of these yards, on the other side of the property line, the fence here, see there's this driveway, this sheet water. So you have all that sheet water coming off the driveway, just runs over here. You got all the sheet water coming off this patio. It just gets trapped. It has nowhere to go. So your basement sump pump ends up running a lot. So we're going to put a French drain in here. This was not machine accessed. This did have to be dug out by hand. Whatever it takes. Whatever you need to do. People always want to know, how do you connect two downspouts together? You just use a Y fitting. One solid 3.5-inch pipe is going to work great. It's going to stay nice and clean. Two 2x3 downspouts on one pipe. You're going to have a much cleaner line. Any sediment that the leaf filter don't catch, the leaf filter is going to grab large organics. It really doesn't grab much for sediment. Then the sediment basin, the catch basin, that's going to be right here where he dug that hole. That's going to collect all the heavy sediments. Any light sediments that just continue to float and flow out with the water, you want to make sure that you're flowing enough water in the pipe size that you choose. If you have too large a pipe and the water hits a bigger area, it spreads over that greater area, losing its velocity. When the water no longer has its velocity, it can't push and carry all the sediment out. So this 3.5-inch line that we're using, it's ideal. It's perfect. We have 3.5-inch right here for our French drain. We got solid for the roof runoff system. The 3.5-inch is now on the board. ASTM F667. Beautiful. French Drain Man's high octane armor pipe, extra heavy duty. All our 3.5 is extra heavy duty, all of it. Black, white, blue, it doesn't matter. I will tell you this, it's thicker and heavier than any 4-inch pipe. So you always want to have a spotter in the trench. Valente's seen the sprinkler line, he's seen the valve wires. You see that harness right there, next to the pipe. For sprinkler valves, it runs from the clock to the valves. You need a spotter in the trench or you do more damage without a spotter. We got electrical, look at this electrical conduit. And it's shallow, it's not to code, it's very shallow, but that electrical conduit is for the electrical in this garage. You can see it right there. Misdig doesn't mark that kind of stuff. That's private utilities. Private utilities are not marked, but that comes out of the house, runs to the garage. Without a spotter, you're tearing all that up. We also use a really small excavator, and that's by design. It's really small, doesn't have a lot of oomph. If you catch something and there's some resistance, you're gonna feel it. I can't even buy the guys a bigger excavator because it's been talked about and they're like, nope, we're gonna tear more stuff up. More power, you won't feel those lines. You won't feel those conduits. We got an 8-slot 3.5, and we got a solid white 3.5 for the downspouts. We're grabbing up all the bulk water. We're gonna tighten this yard up. 170 feet of French drain. and a few downspouts. We're going to make this yard nice and dry. It's going to be great for children and pets. When you're running parallel lines like we are, because there's going to be French drain pipe in this one as well, an area that's this flat, when it's flat and there's no swale, no designated area for the water to be caught, you're going to end up needing parallel French drains. You're going to have to run two. We knew that when we looked at that and seen how flat it was. You don't want the customer calling you and saying, hey, that French drain you put behind my garage, it's not doing it. It's not doing enough. So quote it right, do it right. Real flat areas need parallel French drains. The 3.5 pulls through sprinkler line and utilities with ease. It's a real easy pipe to work with. 50% less labor than 4-inch pipe. When you're putting the fabric in, just cut the fabric so you can go around sprinkler lines, go around electric conduits. A lot of times people overthink this. You don't need to overthink it. Just go ahead and cut that fabric. You never know when you have iron ochre. There's so many different types of soil bacterias, and you will sometimes have some growth inside a drain pipe, a French drain pipe, that would require you to jet it out to get it to work its best. We stagger these cleanouts so that we can put a turf restrictor plate on one of them so that it's easy to find. Everything snaps together really fast, quick and easy. Once you're done with the excavation, the assembly is speedy. As the guys pull the pipe, they'll typically get one of these systems put together in about 15 to 20 minutes. Every single component was specially designed for strength, quality, and ease of install. And the reason why is because the contractors worked closely with the engineers to accomplish that. That's what makes French Drain Man unique. And believe me, we get some good ideas out here, and they need a lot of refinement before we actually land them. So it takes a couple years to develop a part in a lot of cases. Perforated pipe, you don't need to tape anything. We end up with this spring-loaded barbed. I mean, it just grabs the pipe and it won't let it go, so you don't need tape. The perforated, you don't need tape. We're not trying to keep the water in. We're trying to let the water in. It's a perforated system. So we have all these sprinkler lines. We have all these utilities. 4-inch pipe won't even work for this. 3.5. 50% less labor. Again, 4-inch pipe will not even work for this. Forget about it. You're digging deeper, you're digging bigger trenches, you're digging wider, deeper trenches, you're hauling off more dirt, you're creating a lot of extra work for nothing because this 3.5-inch pipe does it all. Poly pipe came into the picture in the 1970s. We had a huge boom, a lot of success with it. It's a loved pipe, but they never did a 3.5 because they don't want the extra fittings. They don't want to have the extra parts in inventory. So that's why, you know, we went to manufacturers and asked if they would ever consider it, and that's what they told me. They're like, we make a 3-inch and we make a 4-inch. If the 4-inch is too big, go to 3-inch. I'm like, but yeah, we need a 3.5. The numbers for yard drainage say that we need a 3.5. It's the perfect pipe for French drains, yard drains, downspouts. So we made it ourselves. All our tools are made with those clips. Those are expensive tools. They have a lot of action to be able to make those barbed spring-loaded clips on them. But as contractors, we wanted nothing but the best. Any way that we could build it stronger and easier. We want it to be extremely strong, longevity, and ease of install. When you're a contractor, time is money. You have to be able to put it together quick. So what used to take half a day now just takes the crew 15-20 minutes snapping these systems together. So the black clips for the 3.5-inch pipe, the quick clips, the black are wide. We can get a pillar of stone in between the pipe. That's for strength. They're going to use a really big commercial mower back here. They have access to this with a commercial mower. So we're just going to go ahead. We typically use these most of the time, but if you want the pipes to be close together, they actually will form more void, because when you push them close together, there's like a triangle created underneath the pipe that flows water too. But to have stone on both sides of the pipe and in between the two pipe, stone has a lot of load bearing strength, a ridiculous amount of load bearing strength. So this is going to allow us to get some stone in between the two pipes and on both sides. Now the light blue clips are the ones that pull it close together. So they're color coded. We got two clips for the 3.5. That's your difference. And again, we tend to use these mostly. We're always building things as strong as we can, but every once in a while we get into a situation where we want to flow as much water as we possibly can. So Francisco connected a 45 to a Y. When you have two lines that are parallel, you're going to need a 45 degree along with the Y fitting. Everything goes together quick, easy, fast, extremely strong, extremely durable, built out of virgin pipe, no recycled materials. This system's going to last 200 years without any issues. The tape we use is rated for 200 years. It's super sticky, super stretchy. Nothing but the best if it's wearing our badging. For DIYers, you're going to probably want to cut this with a hacksaw. These guys that are using their hands every day, box knives, every day. That's it. Nice, quick, fast. So that's how you connect two parallel lines. You got a Y fitting with a 45 degree fitting. These 45s, they're braced up. They're crazy strong. We have these spring-loaded barbs. You see how they're barbed? They grab the pipe, and they're spring-loaded. Nothing holds as well as these pipe fittings right here. We put a lot of time and research into it. We perfected it. We got patents on some of these. So we're taping this up because we have a solid downspout line. Everything that you see with tape is a solid white line. It's grabbing up the roof water right at the downspout. Don't ever put a basin underneath your downspout. It splashes and it stains the house. You want to grab it up right at the downspout, pipe it right to your downspout, and then you don't have to tape the perforated pipe. You're trying to let the water in. It's a perforated system. Everything's full of holes. And you don't need to tape it for strength because we have our patent pending 45. We have our patent pending Ys and clips, and everything is just crazy strong. You see how the guys went ahead and plumbed all this. Really nice job. Again, they're sealing the solid white. They got clips underneath here too. There's clips. These clips are quick, easy, fast. Guys were using zip ties to tie pipe together. And we were like, no, we got to do something. We got to stop that. Zip ties, really big zip ties like that are expensive. And it was time consuming. I was like, we can do better. So we had probably 4 versions of this quick connect clip that holds 2 pipes together. We just kept working towards what we have now. I mean, it's also patent pending, and it's phenomenal. So you can see how these clips space the pipes out, allow stone to get in between the pipes. That pillar of stone is for structural strength. Who knows, maybe that tree gets broke in a big storm. They got to remove it. They got to stump it. We know there's going to be heavy equipment back here. We know that.
Yeah. I don't want to take that pipe out of that. This is going to need a couple of one pipe.
Make sure you leave the stone down. It has to be low enough to allow you to put sand on top of the fabric. Also, when we cut the sod, we always put it on the thickest notch. We want as much root and dirt when we cut that sod off. We want a good turf mat to work with. So right now, Francisco, he's working at setting the height of the stone. Don't fill the trench with stone all the way to the top. You'll regret that. You need to allow room for the sand and the turf mat. You can see how low it is. You can see the sidewall of the trench. That's done purposely so there's room for sand and the turf mat that we cut off. That's key. That's really key. You can't forget that, or you'll be humped up at your French drain. You don't want to be humped up at your French drain. You want water to be drawn into the French drain. So you can't have it built up at the French drain. A lot of guys make that mistake. I see it all the time. I watch videos on YouTube and I see it. I know what to look for in the videos. Obviously, this stuff just stands out to me. So I mention it for a reason. You know, put 3 inches of sand down and then have a couple inches of dirt with your sod. When you cut it out, make sure you cut it out real thick. Once the grass roots root through the double punch fabric, and that'll take about a year, the system's going to work phenomenal. But until then, you need the sand between the sod and the fabric. Otherwise, you won't be able to grab up any water at the surface. The sod goes together like a puzzle. Just the way it came out, it goes right back in. The guys went ahead, put those clips in. Spaces the pipes out a little bit. It keeps them nice and straight. Everything's organized. Beautiful. Really nice. Got the cleanouts, 2 perforated pipes in this trench. You can see the spacing with those clips. Right here, this is nice. A lot of people want to see this. So we have Ys and 45s to pull this off. You can see the 45-degree fitting. There's a Y, there's another Y. Here's a Y, here's a 45-degree fitting. Here's another Y. Make sure you have Ys and 45s extra when you're putting your system together. You'll regret it if you don't. Over here, 2Y. Got another Y. Everything's tied in. We could actually run a camera through every one of those main pipes. We can inspect them. We could jet them. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. It supports the channel. If you have any questions regarding this installation, leave them in the comments section. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood, and until the next video.